The starship Odyssey drifted silently through the glittering stars, its sleek hull catching the light of distant suns. Commander Elena Voss stood on the bridge, her hands resting on the rail, her eyes tracing the patterns of light that shimmered across the void. Around her, the galaxy seemed alive. Nebulae pulsed like giant cosmic hearts, and planets spun in their endless, silent orbits. It was beautiful, terrifying, and completely unfamiliar. Humanity had joined the Intergalactic Alliance only recently, and every corner of this new world reminded them how small they truly were. "Elena," said Captain Marcus Lee, her second-in-command, a tall man with dark, thoughtful eyes. "We are approaching Council Station Epsilon. Alliance representatives are waiting, remember? First impressions matter." Elena nodded but did not turn away from the viewport. The station ahead was enormous, floating like a jewel in the void. Its structure glimmered with strange metal that shifted colors as it rotated. Bridges of light connected towers that seemed impossibly thin and impossibly tall. Ships from hundreds of alien species hummed and glided around it, their engines leaving trails of energy that danced in the darkness. For a moment, she felt a knot of unease. They were outsiders here. The Alliance's council, made of ancient, powerful races, had already underestimated humans, but Elena had no intention of letting them. Lieutenant Corin Thale, a Xerian officer with 3 arms and skin like polished onyx, swiveled his chair to face her. "All systems are functional, Commander. Docking procedures are cleared. Sensors detect unusual activity near the station's perimeter. Nothing dangerous, but worth noting." Elena frowned. "Unusual how?" "Minor energy fluctuations. Possibly. Some unstable reactor emissions. Nothing your species would be able to manage alone, but worth attention." Corin's 3 eyes blinked in rhythm. "I suggest caution." Elena's lips tightened. Humans had a saying, "Caution without courage is just fear." She turned to Marcus. "Prepare the landing shuttle. We go in as diplomats, but we stay alert. Humans never let fear control them." As the shuttle detached, Elena felt the familiar tension of first contact. The council chamber was immense, glowing with bioluminescent light that shifted through. Soft blues, greens, and violets. Alien delegates floated above crystalline platforms, their bodies rippling in strange patterns, their voices creating harmonics that made the air vibrate. The humans felt fragile, almost childlike in comparison. But Elena refused to let herself be intimidated. When they entered, a counselor with skin like liquid amethyst and eyes reflecting distant galaxies looked down at them. His name was Erath. "Humans," he said, voice deep and melodious. "Your presence here is unexpected. Your species is young, impulsive, and, dare I say, dangerously emotional. What can you contribute to the Alliance?" Elena's chest tightened, but she squared her shoulders. "We contribute adaptability, courage, and imagination. Humanity may be young, but we have survived every challenge on our homeworld. And we learn fast. Give us a task, and we will succeed." Murmurs rippled across the chamber. The humans could feel the skepticism, see it in the way other species' bodies tensed. They had been underestimated, written off as fragile and unpredictable. Elena allowed herself a small smile. She loved proving people wrong. At that moment, a red alert flashed on the humans' monitors. Marcus swore under his breath. "Commander, there's something near the Andromeda Rift. Energy readings off the charts." The counselors turned, curious. Erath arched a long head. "Ah, a minor spatial disturbance. Nothing for humans to concern themselves with." Elena stared at the rippling dark energy on the screen. Her instincts screamed danger. "Minor or not, I cannot ignore it. Humanity does not stand idle while threats grow." The chamber quieted. There was a strange tension as the council considered her words. Finally, a delegate with transparent skin that shimmered like liquid crystal spoke. Perhaps this human. Courage is not without value. We will observe, but be warned, the galaxy is not kind to the reckless. Elena's eyes met Marcus's. We are not reckless, she whispered. We are human, and humans endure. We survive, we fight, and sometimes we thrive where others fail. Even as they spoke, the energy readings near the rift pulsed violently. Something waited there, something old, powerful, and hungry. The Council might dismiss it as trivial, but Elena knew better. This was humanity's first test in the Alliance, and it would not be easy. On the shuttle back to the Odyssey, Elena watched the stars again. Every human aboard carried a mix of fear and determination. They were small, fragile, and underestimated, but they had something no alien race could fully understand. A relentless will to fight for survival for their people, for hope. Prepare the fleet, Elena said quietly. Whatever is out there, it will meet humanity, and it will learn why we never give up. The stars shimmered, the rift pulsed in darkness, and the humans of Earth, tiny, defiant, brilliant, were ready to make their mark on the galaxy. The alarm on the Odyssey screamed like a warning horn through the calm of space. Red lights flashed across the bridge, and the star-filled void outside seemed to shiver in fear. Commander Elena Voss's stomach sank as she stared at the view screens. The Hope, a massive human hospital ship carrying thousands of wounded civilians and soldiers, was under attack. Sleek black warships moved like shadows, firing plasma volleys that scorched the ship's shields. Marcus Lee's jaw tightened. This can't be. They're not in the Alliance roster. They're raiders, Elena said grimly. Or someone wants humanity humiliated before the Council. Either way, we act now. The crew of the Odyssey moved with precision, born of training and determination. Humans were small in comparison to the towering alien warships, but they had speed, cunning, and ingenuity. Elena gritted her teeth. We protect our own. Let's move. Lieutenant Corinthal, the three-eyed Xyrian officer, swiveled in his chair, scanning the enemy. They've split into two wings. Pincer attack. If the Hope falls, human credibility in the Alliance will vanish. Elena's voice was calm but fierce. Then we will show the galaxy exactly what humans are capable of. The Odyssey leapt into warp, threading between asteroids and debris like a needle through fabric. Energy shields flared as they deflected stray plasma. Every human officer on the bridge moved with purpose, fear transformed into focus. On the hospital ship, Commander Lyra Chen coordinated evacuations. Her hands moved over the controls with practiced calm, issuing orders to pods and medical teams. Hull breaches are stabilized for now, but we won't hold much longer. Elena's voice cut across the comms. Hold on, Lyra. Humans don't just survive. We outthink, outmaneuver, and endure. Prepare for a counterstrike. The human drones deployed, zipping in intricate patterns that confused enemy sensors. The black warships fired blindly, their weapons striking. Nothing but empty space. Elena studied the rift to their side, a swirling tear of dark energy. A thought sparked. Marcus, flank them using the rift. Corin, sink the drone's interference fields. Let's make them pay for underestimating us. The maneuver was dangerous. Any misstep could rip the Odyssey apart. But humanity thrived where others hesitated. The ship curved around the rift, engines screaming, and released a gravitational pulse. The pulse tossed the attackers into one another, throwing their formation into chaos. Plasma bolts struck their own ships, shields collapsing in sparks of alien fury. By the stars! Corin's three voices spoke in shock. The humans! They are adapting in real time! Marcus's hands flew over the controls, directing. Energy to shields and engines. We can hold them! Keep pressure! Drones, target their engines! On the Hope, Lyra Chen allowed herself a brief, proud smile as shields stabilized fully. They're actually holding. Elena's eyes glimmered with determination. We're not done yet. Humans fight smart, not just strong. Remember that. The council chamber watched in disbelief from afar. Eorath's amethyst skin shimmered with incredulity. Humans. They turned a hopeless defense into an offensive strike without losing a single crew member. Elena's grin was small, but sharp. Humans never underestimate the value of ingenuity, she said under her breath. The last of the raiders, now disoriented and struggling to escape the gravitational chaos, fled into the rift. The human fleet did not pursue recklessly. Instead, they stabilized, regrouped, and ensured the Hope was safe. Every human aboard the Odyssey felt a surge of pride. They had been underestimated, they had been mocked, and yet they had not just survived, they had dominated with strategy, intelligence, and courage. Marcus exhaled slowly, tension leaving his body. That was extraordinary. The Council won't ignore this. Elena nodded, her eyes still fixed on the rift, where the last enemy ship disappeared into darkness. They will remember. But we are only beginning. This was a warning, not the fight itself. Corin tilted his head, awe in his 3 eyes. Humans. There is something unique in you. Something no other species possesses. Perhaps your survival instincts are matched only by your creativity. Elena's voice was quiet but firm. We survive not because we are strongest, but because we think, adapt, and care for one another. That is what the galaxy does not understand about humanity. The crew of the Odyssey exchanged looks of determination and pride. For the first time in the eyes of the Alliance, humans were no longer fragile. They were dangerous, clever, unpredictable, and somewhere deep in the Andromeda Rift, a dark presence wrought. The council chambers were quiet, yet tension hung thick as a nebula cloud. Elena Voss sat across from the alien delegates, her hands folded calmly on the table. Her mind replayed the attack on the Hope, the chaos, the fear, the ingenious counterstrike. Humanity had survived, but the Council's skepticism had not entirely vanished. Eorath, the amethyst-skinned counselor, floated forward, eyes reflecting a galaxy of doubt. Commander Voss, your species acted with remarkable efficiency during the attack. But one must ask, why were your hospital ships so vulnerable? Was it mere chance that humans survived? Elena's eyes met his, steady and unwavering. It was not chance. Humans prepare for the worst even when others dismiss danger. We act with courage, intelligence, and foresight. That is what allowed the Hope to survive. A delegate with translucent crystalline skin named Selith emitted a soft hum. Still, your species relies on improvisation. You are reckless in ways others cannot risk. Do you expect the Alliance to trust your methods in larger conflicts? Marcus Lee leaned slightly forward. Improvisation is not recklessness. It is adaptability. Humans do not just follow rules. We solve problems that rules cannot predict. That has kept our species alive for millennia, the chamber murmured. Elena could feel the shift. Some delegates were curious, some cautious, and a few visibly irritated. The humans were changing the narrative, one small step at a time. Corin Thale tilted his head. Humans, they think differently. Not stronger, but in ways others cannot. Anticipate. That is their advantage. Elena's gaze flicked toward the viewport. Beyond the council station, the Andromeda Rift pulsed darkly, a silent threat no one else fully understood. She could feel it watching, waiting, the attack on. The Hope had been only a prelude. A young human officer, Lieutenant Anya Patel, whispered from her seat. Commander, the Council might not act fast enough if the rift destabilizes further. Should we suggest a proactive approach? Elena nodded slightly. Yes. Humanity cannot wait for others to notice danger. We must lead when necessary. Send our report and recommendations. Include a risk assessment of the rift. Detail contingency plans. Show them we think beyond survival. Irath's voice cut across the chamber like a blade. You presume to instruct the Council? Humans, you are bold. Perhaps too bold. Elena leaned forward, eyes sharp. Boldness is what keeps civilizations alive when threats are unknown. We did not survive by being cautious alone. For a moment, silence filled the chamber. Then, from the back, a delegate with dark, rippling skin named Vorin spoke. Perhaps the humans' actions were fortunate, but fortune favors no one forever. The galaxy's dangers are vast. Elena allowed herself a small, confident smile. Then we will continue to prepare. And when danger strikes, we will act. Fortune or no fortune, humanity endures through strategy, ingenuity, and the will to protect life. That is our true strength. Marcus whispered. You're inspiring. Them, Elena, even the skeptics are reconsidering. Elena glanced at the rift again. Its black energy twisted and churned, a reminder that time was short. This council may hesitate, she said quietly, but the rift will not. Whatever lies within, it will not wait for permission to strike. Corin, Thala's voice, usually measured, carried admiration. I have studied thousands of species, Commander. Humans, they do not merely react. They anticipate. They learn. They turn desperation into power. Elena turned to her crew, determination burning in her eyes. We prepare, we observe, and we act when the time is right. Humanity will not be caught unready. Hours passed. Reports were filed, strategies debated, and the Council seemed reluctantly impressed. But Elena sensed unease, a subtle undercurrent of fear. The rift was no ordinary spatial anomaly. Its dark energy pulsed like a heartbeat, almost alive. And deep within it, something stirred, sensing humanity's defiance. Lieutenant Patel spoke again. Commander, the readings from the rift are changing. The energy patterns, they're responding to our fleet's presence. Elena's gaze hardened. Not responding. They are aware, and we must be ready for whatever emerges. Humanity survives by understanding what others cannot see. Marcus leaned back, tension in his shoulders. We're pushing the limits. If the Council refuses to act, do we intervene ourselves? Elena's jaw tightened. We always intervene when lives are at stake. That is what makes us human. Courage without action is meaningless. Outside, the rift pulsed, a swirling storm of darkness and light. Every human on the Odyssey felt it, a silent, omnipresent force, and yet none wavered. Fear existed, yes, but so did determination. Humanity had endured plagues, wars, and extinction. Events on Earth. They had survived famine, fire, and chaos. This, whatever it was, would be no different. Elena stood, her presence commanding attention. Counselors, delegates, allies of the galaxy, humanity is not here to falter. We are here to endure, to learn, and to protect. If the rift threatens life, we will meet it, and we will prevail. Not because we are strongest, but because we refuse to fail. The chamber fell silent, the weight of her words settling in. Some delegates nodded, their expressions thoughtful. Others still doubted, but one truth remained clear. Humans had arrived in the Alliance not as weak, impulsive creatures, but as unpredictable, resilient, and brilliant strategists. Corin whispered to Marcus, I have never seen a species unite fear and intellect so perfectly. They may indeed light the galaxy on fire, in ways none of us can yet imagine. Elena returned to the viewport, staring at the churning darkness of the rift. Somewhere inside, something ancient and powerful was waiting. But humans did not cower. They prepared, adapted, and would face it on their own terms. For the first time, the Council understood underestimating humanity was a dangerous mistake. Elena smiled faintly, almost to herself. They think they know us, but they have only seen the beginning. The stars beyond the station shimmered like silent witnesses. Humanity's fire had been lit, and it would burn brighter than any council could imagine. The Odyssey drifted closer to the Andromeda Rift, its sleek hull cutting through the darkness like a blade of silver. Commander Elena Voss stood on the E bridge, her eyes locked on the swirling mass of black and violet energy. The rift pulsed with an almost living rhythm, as if the void itself were breathing. Every officer aboard felt the tension pressing down, a weight that made the stars outside seem small and fragile. "Commander," Marcus Lee said, his voice tight. "Sensor readings indicate a surge in energy from the rift. It's reacting to our presence. The fluctuations are unprecedented." Elena did not turn from the viewport. "Not reacting, testing. Something inside is probing, analyzing. It knows we are here." Lieutenant Corin Thales' 3 eyes blinked rapidly. "Commander, it has intelligence beyond any anomaly I have encountered. Perhaps sentience." Elena's jaw tightened. "Then we treat it as such. Prepare all defense protocols, every drone, shield, and weapon system. Humanity survives by being ready for the unknown." Down below, engineers raced along corridors, recalibrating energy cores and diverting power to the shields. Every crew member felt the pressure, but also a sense of purpose. They were humans, and humans thrived where others feared to tread. On the medical bay, Commander Lyra Chen checked on the remaining crew from the Hope. Though the hospital ship was safe, the recent attack had shaken everyone. "We're ready, Commander," she said quietly, her hand steady. "If anything comes through that rift, we'll be prepared." Elena smiled faintly. "Good. Humanity survives not by avoiding danger, but by meeting it head-on." Suddenly, the rift shuddered violently. Dark tendrils of energy lanced outward, scraping along the Odyssey's shields. Warning sirens blared. Crew members gripped rails and consoles as the ship rocked from the energy surge. "Status!" Elena shouted. "All shields holding at 70%, Corin reported. "But energy patterns are adaptive. They are learning from our defenses." Elena's mind raced. Conventional weapons would not work. Alien fleets had studied the rift for centuries and avoided it. Yet humanity faced it without fear. "We can't fight them head-on," she said. "We need strategy. We need distraction and creativity. Marcus, initiate the decoy drones. Corin, amplify interference fields." The bridge erupted in controlled chaos. Drones zipped through space, weaving illusions of ships and weapons that drew the rift's tendrils away from the hospital ship. The Odyssey twisted, dodging unpredictable surges, shields flaring with energy. Every officer moved as if their minds were one. Humanity's greatest strength, teamwork under pressure. On the viewport, the rift shifted, dark clouds churning like angry seas. Within its depths, a shape began to emerge, a shadow larger than any ship in the fleet, swirling and alive. It pulsed with intelligence, responding to every move the humans made. Marcus swallowed hard. "It's huge. Commander, it's alive." Elena finished, her voice calm and resolute. "And it's testing us. That is exactly what we expected." Lyra Chen's voice crackled through the comms. "Elena, what do we do if it breaches the rift entirely?" Elena took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility. "Then we fight with our greatest weapon, not firepower, but our minds. Humans survive by thinking, by adapting, and by caring for each other. That is what no enemy, no rift, can anticipate." As the shadow began to surge forward, the crew worked in perfect synchrony. Drones created false energy signatures, shield. Matrices redirected the tendrils, and the Odyssey's engines flared as they executed a... The Odyssey floated near the edge of the Andromeda Rift, its hull shimmering under the dim glow of distant stars. Commander Elena Voss paced the bridge, her mind alive with calculations, strategies, and possibilities. The rift had tested them, probing their defenses and watching their reactions, but humanity was far from defeated. Every crew member aboard understood the stakes: the survival of the hospital ship, their fleet, and their credibility within the intergalactic alliance rested on their next move. Marcus Lee, standing beside her, tightened his jaw. The Council is growing impatient. Some factions argue that humans are reckless, that we act without thinking. They don't understand that thinking under pressure is what humans do best. Elena's eyes narrowed, sharp as a blade. Let them doubt. They underestimate us, and that is the advantage we will exploit. We are small but unpredictable. They do not know what humanity can do when cornered. Lieutenant Corin Thale swiveled in his chair, his three eyes focused on the rift. Commander, the shadow from before, it stirs again. Its energy pulses are stronger. This entity, whatever it is, has learned from our maneuvers. Elena nodded. Then we do what humans always do. We learn faster, we adapt faster. Prepare the drones and weapons systems. We are going to draw it into a controlled zone. We bait it and outsmart it. The crew moved with seamless coordination. Drones zipped forward, emitting false energy signatures. The Odyssey executed a daring loop around the rift's gravitational edge, drawing the entity's attention. Its tendrils of dark energy lashed outward, striking at illusions and leaving the human ships untouched. The bridge vibrated under the pulse of energy, yet the humans held steady. On the hospital ship, Hope, Commander Lyra Chen watched the operation from her secure observation deck. They're risking everything to protect us, she whispered, and somehow they're doing it brilliantly. Elena's voice cut through the comms. Lyra, maintain all defensive protocols. We will not lose you or anyone aboard your ship. Humanity does not leave its own behind. Marcus adjusted controls, eyes flashing with determination. We're in position. The entity is fully focused on the decoys. We can execute the next phase. Elena leaned forward, fingers tracing the holographic map of the rift. Now, we split the energy fields. Send the drones on parallel paths. Force it to divide attention. Then we concentrate our interference waves on its core pattern. It won't anticipate humans thinking in multiple dimensions at once. The plan was audacious. If it failed, they would be annihilated. But humans thrived on risk when guided by intelligence and unity. Drones zipped in intricate patterns, energy fields pulsed, and the entity faltered, its shadowy form twisting in. Confusion. Corin Thale's three voices spoke in amazement. It is unable to predict the humans' moves. Their strategy exceeds anything our calculations anticipated. Elena's lips curved into a small, sharp smile. Humans do not rely solely on technology. We rely on thinking, intuition, and coordination. That is why we endure. The rift's dark energy surged outward, striking the decoy drones with devastating force. Yet the humans had predicted this. The interference fields redirected the blasts away from the Odyssey and the Hope, scattering the energy harmlessly into space. Marcus let out a breath. They're holding! The entity is destabilized! Our tactics are working! Elena's gaze never left the viewport. Not enough. We need to make it retreat. Draw it back into the rift's heart, then collapse the energy around it. One misstep, and we lose everything, but calculated right, we force it back where it belongs. The crew executed the plan flawlessly. The entity hesitated, confused by the humans' unpredictable maneuvers. Then, slowly, it was drawn into the rift's swirling core. Pulses of energy flared and twisted, the dark tendrils retreating under, the precise pressure of the humans' coordinated strategy. In the council chambers, Erath's eyes widened, astonishment etched on every scale. Impossible! They have not only survived, they have controlled the threat. Selith, the crystalline delegate, emitted a low hum. They are brilliant. Their intelligence, adaptability, unmatched. Back on the Odyssey, Elena allowed herself a deep breath. The rift was no longer a direct threat. The hope was safe. The entity had been outsmarted without a single human casualty. Lyra Chen exhaled in relief. You did it. You saved us. Elena smiled faintly, though her eyes still glimmered with intensity. We did more than survive. Humanity turns impossible. Situations into victories. We fight smart, together, and never give up. Corinthale's voice carried awe and admiration. Humans, your species possesses a resilience that is unlike any other. Strength alone does not explain it. It is courage, ingenuity, and unity. Marcus leaned back, tension finally leaving his shoulders. They underestimated us. And look what we accomplished. Humanity just lit a fire that will be remembered across the galaxy. Elena looked once more at the rift. Its dark energy now, calm, almost reflective, as if acknowledging the human's triumph. This is only the beginning, she said quietly. The galaxy may not understand us yet, but soon it will learn that humanity cannot be ignored, controlled, or defeated. The stars outside shimmered, silent witnesses to humanity's ingenuity, courage, and determination. Humanity had faced a threat unlike any other and had turned it into a victory through thinking, teamwork, and relentless will. They were underestimated, mocked, and dismissed, but in that moment, they had proven themselves not just capable, but extraordinary. Elena's final words on the bridge carried through every human heart aboard the Odyssey. Let them remember. This day. Let them remember what it means to face humans and expect weakness. Humanity survives, adapts, and triumphs. That is who we are. And somewhere deep in the Andromeda Rift, the dark presence pulsed, watching, learning, and perhaps fearing humanity's unpredictable brilliance. The Alliance Council's chambers were colder than Elena had expected. Despite humanity's victory over the rift, whispers and sideways glances filled the room. Some delegates still questioned human judgment, their distrust masked behind polite words. Elena could feel the tension like a storm about to break. Erath's amethyst skin shimmered faintly, his gaze unreadable. Commander Voss, your species has demonstrated competence, but competence does not guarantee loyalty. The Council requires assurances. Can humanity be trusted to follow Alliance protocols without deviation? Elena met his gaze, steady and unwavering. Humans have proven that we can adapt, act decisively, and protect life. Our loyalty is earned through action, not through words alone, and we have acted bravely and wisely when it mattered most. Marcus Lee leaned closer. Commander, there are reports of strange communications from one of the Council factions. They may be plotting a maneuver to isolate the human fleet. Or worse. Elena's lips pressed into a thin line. A betrayal, while the rift still pulses. They underestimated us before, and they still do. Lieutenant Corinthale's 3 eyes widened. Betrayal in the Council is rare but dangerous. If humans are targeted, it could compromise everything we've built. Elena's mind raced. They had faced an entity that defied physics, a rift that could destroy planets, and survived. A political betrayal within the Council might be subtler, but it could be just as deadly. Then we do what humans do best. Observe, plan, and act with precision. Marcus, monitor all communications. Corin, analyze Council activity for patterns. Any sign of deceit. We cannot allow our people to be used as pawns. As the meeting continued, a holographic message flickered from the edge of the chamber. It was from Admiral Thane, commander of an Allied fleet stationed near the Outer Rim. Commander Voss, the fleet has received orders from the Council to reroute your vessels away from the rift. They do not explain why. Situation is suspicious. Elena's pulse quickened. It's a trap. They want us out of the way while they handle something. She turned to Marcus. Prepare the fleet for defensive maneuvers. If this is betrayal, we will survive it, as we have survived every other threat. The Odyssey and its support ships, detached from the Council station. Engines hummed as the fleet aligned into defensive formations. Crew members moved with determination, their eyes fierce with the memory of previous victories. Humans had survived against impossible odds before. They would survive this too. Corrin's fingers danced across the console. Commander, I've detected subtle manipulations in fleet orders. Someone is attempting to slow us, isolate us, and expose the hospital ship. This is deliberate. Elena clenched her fists. Then we become the hunters, not the hunted. Marcus, override the reroute orders. Plot a path that keeps the hospital ship safe, but exposes the traitors. Marcus hesitated, aware of the danger. If we confront them directly, we may provoke open conflict with the Council fleet. Then we do it with strategy, Elena replied firmly. Humans do not fight blindly. We outthink before we strike. The fleet surged forward, weaving through asteroid belts and nebulae to create a natural shield. Hidden drones scanned for Council warships attempting interception. Every human officer knew that the enemy was not just outside. They were embedded in the alliance itself. The first signs appeared as the Council fleet approached, ships maneuvering aggressively toward the Hope, unaware that humans had anticipated their moves. Elena's plan unfolded flawlessly. Using decoy drones and synchronized maneuvers, the humans baited the fleet into a tight corridor between two asteroids. The Cown. The Odyssey floated through the silent expanse, the stars glimmering like shards of ice against the dark canvas of space. Commander Elena Voss stared at the readouts, tension coiling like a spring in her chest. The Council's betrayal had been a warning. The galaxy was a place of shadows, and trust was often the rarest commodity. Yet the humans had survived, thrived, and learned. But now a new threat loomed, one unlike any before. Sensors picked up a massive surge of energy emanating from the far side of a nearby nebula. It was an anomaly, a storm of cosmic forces that defied logic, bending space-time and warping the very nature of energy itself. Reports indicated that entire systems could be destabilized if it expanded further. Marcus Lee frowned. It's massive, Commander. If it reaches inhabited sectors, millions could die. This isn't just a threat, it's a catastrophe. Elena's jaw tightened. Then we stop it. Humanity never waits for disaster to strike. We act, and we act. Decisively. Lieutenant Corrin Thale's 3 eyes tracked the anomaly with a mixture of awe and fear. The forces at work are ancient. Even our best simulations cannot predict its behavior. But humans may see possibilities others cannot. Elena nodded, determination burning in her gaze. Exactly. Humans survive because we think differently, and we will prove it again. Across the fleet, crews braced for what lay ahead. Engineers hummed with activity, recalibrating weapons and shields, while analysts ran endless simulations. Every human knew the stakes. This was no longer about survival, but about shaping the future of entire sectors. Lyra Chen, aboard the Hope, coordinated medical teams and evacuation pods. We can't just wait, she said. If we fail, it won't be just soldiers. It'll be civilians, families, entire worlds. Elena's voice rang across the comms. Then we will not fail. Humanity survives by combining intellect, courage, and compassion. Every life matters, and we will protect them all. The fleet approached the heart of the anomaly. Space twisted around them, stars bending in impossible arcs. Energy tendrils lashed outward unpredictably, and navigation became a test of intuition and courage. The Council fleets hesitated, unsure of how to advance, but the humans pressed forward. Marcus adjusted the controls. "We need to create a path through the storm, but conventional navigation won't work. The forces are too chaotic." Elena's eyes glimmered. "Then we use what humans do best: ingenuity. Deploy drones in patterns that stabilize local gravity. Fields. Use energy redistribution to create temporary corridors. It's risky, but it's the only way." Drones swarmed the storm, weaving intricate patterns of light and force. The corridor opened slowly, allowing the Odyssey and the Hope to advance safely. Alien ships followed, hesitant, unable to match the humans' precision and coordination. Corin whispered, awe in his voice. "Humans. They manipulate the storm itself. It bends to your strategy." Elena allowed herself a small smile. "Not bends. Cooperates. Humans turn obstacles into opportunities." As they reached the center of the anomaly, the full magnitude of the threat revealed itself. A storm core, dense and pulsing with chaotic energy, threatening to explode outward. Any miscalculation could obliterate nearby systems. Marcus swallowed, hard. "How do we stop this, Commander? Any direct attack will trigger catastrophe." Elena's mind raced. Then a daring idea crystallized. "We don't destroy it. We redirect it. Use the energy already in the anomaly to collapse it inward, contained. It will require perfect timing and coordination, but we can do it." "Lyra." Chen's voice trembled with urgency. "Commander, the calculations, they're almost impossible. One error and—" "We don't make errors," Elena interrupted firmly. "We calculate, adapt, and execute. Humanity survives impossible odds." This is another one of those moments. The fleet moved in perfect synchrony, humans leading the operation. Drones created precise energy funnels, gravitational fields stabilized the outer edges, and the Odyssey's engines pulsed in timed bursts. Every crew member knew their role. Every action was deliberate. Time stretched. Every second felt like an eternity. The storm pulsed, twisting violently, testing every calculation. The humans held their nerve, adjusting on the fly, anticipating fluctuations, and correcting every anomaly. Finally, the storm began to respond. Energy redirected, tendrils collapsing inward. The cosmic forces no longer lashed outward, instead folding into themselves, contained. The anomaly stabilized, its destructive potential neutralized. Marcus exhaled in disbelief. "We did it. We actually did it." Elena's eyes shone with pride and exhaustion. "We didn't just survive. We outsmarted the impossible. Humanity thrives where others falter, because we refuse to be limited by fear, rules, or doubt." "Corin," Thale's voice was almost reverent. "I have never witnessed such mastery. Humans, you are extraordinary." Lyra Chen smiled softly. "And compassionate. You saved countless lives today, Commander. The galaxy owes you more than it knows." The stars outside returned to their calm brilliance. The anomaly now pulsed gently, a reminder of what had been overcome. Humanity had faced the unfathomable and turned chaos into triumph. Elena addressed her crew, her voice steady, fierce, and inspiring. "Remember this, everyone. Humanity's strength is not in size, speed, or raw power. It is in courage, intelligence, unity, and the refusal to surrender. Today, we proved that to the galaxy, and tomorrow, we will continue to prove it again and again." Somewhere in the dark reaches of space, observers, aliens, council members, and perhaps even forces yet unknown, took note. Humanity was no longer to be underestimated. They were unpredictable, brilliant, and unstoppable. Elena's final words echoed across every bridge, every ship, every heart aboard the fleet. We are human. We survive. We adapt. We prevail. And the galaxy will remember us for that. The stars shone brighter, as if acknowledging the human spirit, and the crew of the Odyssey knew one truth above all. No storm, no betrayal, no cosmic force could extinguish the fire of humanity. The galaxy held its breath. The Odyssey and its fleet drifted at the edge of a newly forming anomaly, darker and more massive than anything previously encountered. Reports from the outer systems were grim, ships disappearing, planets destabilizing, communication arrays collapsing. The Council had sent warnings, but no one dared approach. Except humanity. Commander Elena Voss stood on the bridge, her hands resting lightly on the console. Her gaze was fixed on the swirling darkness beyond, feeling its weight, its intelligence, its challenge. "This is the moment," she said quietly. "Everything we've faced has led to this. Humanity survives by meeting the impossible head-on." Marcus Lee adjusted the energy funnels, his knuckles white. "Commander, this is unlike the rift or any anomaly before. It's active, intelligent, and massive. Even our fleet may not survive direct engagement." Elena met his eyes, calm yet fierce. "Then we do what humans have always done. We fight, smart, together, and with courage. Strategy and heart win where strength alone cannot." Lieutenant Corin Thale's three eyes focused intently. "This entity, it senses us. Every movement we make, it reacts. But humans, your unpredictability confuses it. It cannot fully anticipate your decisions." Elena nodded. "Good. We use that. Marcus, deploy drones with variable energy pulses. Lyra, ready all medical teams. We protect every life while we neutralize the threat." The fleet surged forward. Stars bent and twisted in impossible patterns as the anomaly pulsed, its tendrils of energy lashing outward like furious serpents. Each maneuver required precision, coordination, and nerve. The humans moved as one, a single organism of intellect and heart. The Council fleet, observing from a safe distance, hesitated. They had never seen humans operate with such daring and intelligence. Every prediction failed. The humans acted not by protocol, but by instinct, innovation, and courage. On the Hope, Lyra Chen prepared evacuation systems while guiding crew members and civilians into safety corridors. "Humans never abandon life," she whispered to herself, eyes bright with emotion. "Even under impossible odds." The anomaly reacted violently to the human fleet. Energy flares struck drones, shields flared, and the Odyssey shuddered. But the humans adapted instantly, diverting power, recalibrating vectors, and adjusting interference fields in real time. Their minds worked faster than any computer, their coordination unmatched. Elena leaned forward, voice sharp and commanding. "We don't destroy it. We guide it, contain it, turn its own energy against it, use its chaos to collapse it inward. Every calculation matters. Humanity survives by thinking beyond what is possible." The fleet executed the plan flawlessly. Energy tendrils were redirected, the anomaly's core destabilized, and gravitational corridors formed precisely where needed. Drones hummed with power, absorbing energy surges and converting them into stabilizing pulses. The humans turned a deadly force into a controlled, collapsing sphere. Marcus whispered, awe in his voice. "It's working. We're controlling it. The anomaly is collapsing inward, contained." Corinthila's voice trembled with reverence. "Humans, your species transcends expectation. You face forces beyond understanding and prevail." Elena's eyes gleamed. "This is what humans do. We survive, we adapt, we unite, and we never ever give up." Finally, the anomaly imploded inward, the dark mass collapsing safely into a Concentrated core, harmless yet stable. Space was calm once more, stars returning to their gentle brilliance. Not a single human life had been lost. Humanity had faced annihilation and emerged triumphant. Not